Hey guys, what is up? Sushifish here. I'm going to be doing a little roundup of EA's conference at E3 2017. So, EA have had their conference, and what can I say other than innovative? Innovative, 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 and innovative. No, not really. I'm a little bit fed up of actually hearing that word, and it's only the first conference. EA kicking off with sports, and more sports. Oh, and racing. So, Madden 18, that looks like they've tried to put a tear-jerking, cheesy 90s sports film mixed in with a game which is solely about American football. There really isn't much to say about it. What I can say, though, is FIFA 18, fueled by the data of Ronaldo. That has to be one of the greatest, things I have ever read in my entire life. I couldn't believe it was real. I honestly couldn't. NBA 18 looks pretty fancy, like all sports games do, and they didn't really show much other than close-ups of players as usual. But that seems to be the main selling point every year, that the graphics are better and the physics are better and stuff like that, rather than anything great, really. I'm not too sure why they actually continue to... Not sure why they continue to show these things at E3 every year, because we all know they're going to be coming. So it kind of doesn't make sense. I understand for video games such as Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty that are shown every year because they're completely different games. Yeah, technically I know that the core gameplay isn't different, but it's always different settings and stuff like that. There's not really that much of a difference between FIFA 18 and FIFA 2010, really. One thing that did kind of weird me out was that they're pushing the fact that there's a tournament for all these sports games. Now, I know that the concept of, esports is a thing and stuff like that. Obviously, I enjoy watching esports quite a lot. But it's really, really strange that there is esports for real sports. That is just kind of strange. It's where do we stop in regards to this? So moving on from sports, there was also a Need for Speed, which, if I'm honest, it looked alright. I'm not a big fan of the Need for Speed series, and the last time I played it was the first Underground game, which was too long ago. I also remember playing Unreal Tournament 2004 alongside it, so that kind of shows my age a little bit. I remember finding the customization in that really fun, and that seems to be a really big thing in this new Need for Speed. They showcase trying to get as I said, a bit of old junk and turn it into a supercar, which seems quite good, but overall, watching it, all I wanted was a new Burnout game, and that is it. Please make a new Burnout game. I'll pay good money for that. Thanks. So moving on from sports and racing, they showcased a new game from the makers of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons called A Way Out, which really, really reminded me of Kane and Lynch. I'm not sure about anyone else, but that's the main vibe I got from that. It seems to have quite a nifty split-screen co-op where you can do stuff whilst the other character is in a cutscene and stuff like that. They've also claimed that whilst this game can be played online, it's meant to be played with split-screen co-op to get the full experience of the game, which is quite a good idea. It's quite cool because it's not something that is usually done, but at the same time, what you've got to consider is not many people care about that anymore. I know it's something that a lot of us older people do care about, is having split screen and stuff like that for, I guess, nostalgia reasons, but other than that, it's kind of alienating your audience a little bit. If the effects are as big as they say it are, they're saying that you can also play it LAN and over, the internet and stuff, so hopefully that won't, deter people too much. And good luck with development on that. Overall, I think it could be quite fun, but I feel like it might get boring after a while, which means I'll probably personally end up picking it up just when it's on sale for under £5 or something like that on Steam or whatever it's being released on. It's not something I'm going to go running out to buy. Definitely not. It's just not me. We also got a very small teaser from the new IP that EA and BioWare are working on. This game looks like a mix of Lost Planet and Mass Effect, so that should be interesting, and we'll find out more during Microsoft's conference what that is actually about. The game itself is called Anthem, and personally I'm not exactly holding my breath for it to be anything spectacular. I find that BioWare, whilst they've made such fantastic games in the past, with Dragon Age Origins being one of my favourite RPGs of all time, they've been quite lackluster recently, and I'm quite skeptical, but I'm skeptical about anything which is EA, so. Then on to the big one, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm so unbelievably skeptical about this game. I don't even particularly like Star Wars myself, but to give them credit, they did show a lot of gameplay, which, whether or not it was scripted, which it probably was knowing E3 and all the controversy in the past, they announced that it will have an offline single-player campaign, which already whets my appetite a little bit, but it is something I'm going to hold off buying for the first month or so, just to see what reviews are like. And I say that because If you look at Star Wars Battlefront 1 now, I don't believe the player base is that great. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, it was fun to play when it first came out. A friend of mine borrowed it me and it was quite fun, but the price has come down now to like £7 on Origin and stuff like that. I'm not sure what the prices are like for console, but for me it kind of just makes me think, well, I might as well just wait for a little bit because I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, so if the game ends up beating all expectations, then I'll probably invest into it. But the big announcement from that comes with the fact that all the DLC will be free, which is good, I guess. But my problem here is that they've already announced some characters that are going to be added as future DLC. It's like, why not just add them straight away? If they've already been designed and they're already made, why not just add them with release? I mean, we didn't actually get a release date from what I can remember, so why not just add them? You've got them there. Just put them in. Don't give it us split up and all that nonsense. They've also claimed that there's going to be 3 times more content than the previous game. Again, I'm very skeptical about this. I wonder if this means actual content or future downloadable content. After all, they could just be talking about a hell of a lot of cosmetics, etc. Now, one thing they did end up saying, but they didn't go into much detail about, is that there's going to be some sort of card system or something like that. So essentially EA are adding their own version of loot boxes to Battlefront, which I guess is no surprise. They're a feature that most FPSs have these days, and I think it will be a trend to continue in the industry for a very long time. I found myself not all that impressed by Battlefront 2. I guess it's because they didn't or just couldn't show all that much. I will give EA credit. They did show quite a lot of gameplay footage, so that is always nice, but I guess I would have been more interested in it if they showed more of the campaign or something like that. The little trailer that they had there was pretty nice. So overall, EA's conference was pretty dull, pretty cringy, especially with that high five, and I don't understand why they need to dedicate such time and efforts towards the sports games that they do. Not because I'm not a fan, but it just goes back to the argument that I laid out earlier. Hopefully the other conferences will be more exciting. Usually they are, especially when it's from Microsoft or Sony. They usually have quite big things. Even if you don't really like the consoles or if you don't have the consoles, they still try to make things as exciting as they can, and usually it's a pretty good show even if you don't care about the games that are being announced. So yeah, up next for me is Microsoft. Let me know what you think about EA's E3 conference, and if you'd like to support the channel and see it grow, then please hit the subscribe button. See ya!